who live like that, to raise families off of those type of moves, man.
Yeah. But I know what you mean though. Once you get in the business game though, and you actually start doing it the right way.
Right.
Like when I was doing it,
It's a
with,
totally different.
paying taxes and shit like
taxes.
that. That's when you it slows
That's the
down.
big eye opener right there.
Yeah, it's slow.
The number one that let you know, okay, we're in business now.
Yep.
It's the first time you deal with those taxes. You're paying instead of getting some. You know, that whole thing was like mind blowing to me, man.
Oh yeah, LLCs, man, they save you.
Real talk. Mic check 1 2, man. Million Views Podcast, man. It's your host WilsonMillz. We're back with another exclusive episode of Million Views Podcast. I like to call these interviews exclusives because, you know, it's more focused on the artist, and in this case, the actor, director, the songwriter. I'm assuming, you know what I'm saying? Like this man here, this gonna be one for the record books right here on Million Views Podcast, man. Without further ado, Mr. Brandon Lee Benton himself. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. I appreciate you having me on, man. Really.
Hey, man, the conversation is just organically flowing. You know what I'm saying? As I imagined that it would. You know, I had a chance to briefly meet you through Dirty Mouth. Shout out to my dog, Dirty Mouth Comedian, man. All other. What's the name of it? Damn, I always mess it up, man. Mark Caesar, Dirty Mouth Comedian, man. Smiley. What do they call them? Pitch Your Pants. The Pitch Your Pants. The Pitch Your Pants crew, you know what I'm saying? But that's how I was introduced to this brother. He was actually inviting us in to come check out the comedy night last Wednesday at the Comedy House.
Yeah, the comedy
I
house.
enjoyed myself, man. I was glad that you invited us in there. Me and my friends, we went in there, we checked it out. I was able to catch I want to say the host, Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan, and I caught
Ryan
one
Rogers.
comedian.
Shout out to Ryan Rogers.
Yeah,
He's
Ryan Rogers, man.
Great local comedian. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get right into it, sir. On Million Views Podcast, man. Like I said, it's more in the story of the man, woman, you know what I'm saying, whoever it is we on at the time. But today is the man of the hour, Mr. Benton. Let's start at the beginning, man. Like let us know where you came from. Like, you know, the earliest that you want to share with us, man, on your upbringing. How did it start for Brandon?
Well, I was born in South Carolina.
Okay.
I grew up in the Greenville area.
South Carolina, Southern boy.
Yeah, it's right outside of Spartanburg. I don't know if you ever heard of Spartanburg.
Not familiar with that.
Yeah.
What else is it close to though?
It's about an hour and a half from everywhere. So you got an hour and a half from Atlanta, Georgia. You're an hour and a half from Asheville, North Carolina. Hour and a half from Tennessee.
Shit, they call those hub cities where I'm from.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm like right there at the crux, basically, of the state. So. And
that's all I meant. The hub is the center. You know what I'm saying? The center of everything. Like Metairie, where I'm from.
Yeah.
We got Baton Rouge. We got New Orleans this way. You know what I'm saying? You go across the lake, you got Slidell.
Yeah, everywhere in like 10, 15 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I meant by that. But yeah, man, you from South Carolina. You know, how was the household?
It was good. It was good. I have 5 siblings. You know, grew up in a full house. Double parent home. I was very lucky. My parents they've still been married. You know, they're going on 32 years. And,
shout out to the parents, man.
Yeah. They've been kicking it pretty strong. And I had I got a younger brother, 2 younger brothers, an older brother. Yeah, he kind of did his own thing, moved off, you know, to I think he's in like Michigan or something like that.
Okay.
And then 2 sisters. Yeah, 2 older sisters. So it was a packed house. And my dad, you know, bless his heart, he was one of those guys, man. He worked at the local cotton mill. Oh, you know, and he worked there for 30 plus years until they shut down in like 2017.
Okay.
$12.50 an hour. And he somehow kept it together and
made that work, huh?
Made it work, yeah.
That's what's up. So that's what inspired your work ethic and you know the way you go about things. Though I could tell through your conversation, like you're pretty serious about what you do.
Yeah, I guess I got that. It's a double-edged sword because I feel like I got the work ethic and the drive to do things from his dedication to being able to do what he did for so long. But I don't want to be like that. You know, I can't see myself doing the same job. That's why I got into this kind of business, is I couldn't see myself doing the same job for every day for 30 years.
Right.
You know, I had to be doing something where I was entertaining or expressing myself and doing what I could to be myself, you know,
being more in control.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your first glimpse of that? Around what age did you realize that, like that same notion right there? Around what age did that start tapping at you?
Well, I think it was, I think whenever the flashbang went off and you become self-aware as a kid, you know what I mean? I was probably 14 or 15.
Okay.
And I had got real heavy into punk rock music. And I was like, man, I really like to get out and do something, because you're born in a small town of like maybe 50,000 people, and you see people never going anywhere. They grow up in the same town, they have kids, they stay there, and you know, seeing the way my dad was with that, I wanted more. You know, I wanted to be able to do something that I could give my kids more than, you know, than what I got.
Something that I caught you say just now is something that's true to me in my life too. And you from South Carolina, I'm from right here in Metairie, New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So the music, it inspired you, it influenced you in a way. You know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way, but in a way of, you know, I want to do something that makes me feel like this. I want to do something that where I can express myself, you know what I'm saying, to the fullest, you know what I'm saying, and it don't be no bounds or no chains on the situation. Is that kind of
yeah. And I think that a lot of it has to do with music's definitely what inspired me to like get out and do stuff, because I just couldn't fathom being stuck in the same spot. Like I travel all the time. I'm never in the same state for what seems like longer than 3 months.
Okay.
And if it's not just doing a project, it's just getting the hell out and going to another state just to test it out for a little while. You know, and just to meet people, like our incident the other night, you know, just a happenstance that we ran into each other.
And listen, that was a night where I said to myself, shout out to Dirty Mouth, bro. Shout out to King Mike. Shout out to Style. Shout out to Peter Paul. Shout out to everybody, really. You know what I'm saying, in the industry that I've been bumping shoulders with, because that's the thing that they always preaching to me, always getting on me about, getting out more, rubbing shoulders with people. Just, you know, I had no idea who you were. You know what I'm saying? Just a cool dude sitting there minding his business. You know what I'm saying? We shook hands, passed a few words, and boom. You know what I'm saying? That led to us both helping each other in business. You know what I'm saying? Didn't cost neither one of us anything. Didn't hurt us at all. It only helped. You know what I'm saying? And that was just positive energy at you know, working on his own. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so like you say, the flashbang happens, you know what I'm saying? You discover your love for music, and then you also discover, I'm guessing, your knack for it, because you say your music was your first love, right? Music is what started this whole journey for you, right? Exactly. Okay, what was the first music that came from Brandon? Like, what was the first music that came from Brandon Lee Benton? It was I was in this band in 2007. Keep going. I'm gonna adjust this light.
Yeah, go ahead. I was in a band in 2007, and
you want to say the name, or you want to leave them nameless?
Yeah, no, it was called Separate the Kids, and it was just this dirty kind of punk rock band. We sucked.
Separate the Kids?
Yeah, Separate the Kids. Yeah. Okay. And it was
interesting name.
We just, you know, we sucked. It wasn't. Wasn't amazing, but it was so much fun, dude. I mean, my first show I played was at a house party for a buddy of mine, old buddy of mine, and he, you know, I played with my back to the stage, to the crowd. You know, I was.
You were afraid?
Yeah, I had stage fright, and you know, but when you're young and you're excited and you want to do shows, you're just like, yeah, let's do it, let's get up there. And yeah, I straight up just turned around with my guitar, didn't look at anybody. But yeah, it was a band called Separate the Kids in 2007. Seems so long ago. 2007.
Hey, bro. That was a while ago. You know, to keep it real, that was about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It flies, bro.
It does.
Time really goes by, bro.
But after that, I ended up leaving punk rock music, not in my heart. You know, I still listen to it, but like I had ended up leaving it. I met up with a guy named Josh Griffin. Shout out to Joshua Griffin. He's my best friend. He's been there with me through a bunch of stuff. You know, I've been friends with that guy since, you know, we were 15, 16 years old.
Shout out to Josh.
And he got me hooked up with a couple of his buddies, and we started this metal band. And we found out that I could do like metal vocals, like scream, like the low gutturals and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. And metal, that's like Kiss and shit like that,
huh? Like you ever heard Slayer or Disturbed or?
Give me one more. I'm gonna try.
Let's see. Metallica.
Metallica.
Yeah. Okay. It's like a real heavy Metallica. And
so what would Kiss be?
That'd be rock and roll.
That's just flat out rock and roll.
Yeah, that's rock.
So it get a little worse than that. Like,
oh, it's real worse than that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, real heavy.
Okay, I mean, you got rock, then you go metal, and then you go.
I'd say you have rock, you'd have progressive, and then you have progressive metal, then you have new metal, which is like Linkin Park.
Okay, Linkin Park. All right.
Shout out to Linkin Park. And then you go from new metal to like Cannibal Corpse, which is bit heavier.
That sounds heavy.
Yeah, yeah. And then you go Thy Art Is Murder, Lorna Shore. Like the spectrum, man. Like it just progressively gets heavier. I mean, like it's indistinguishable vocals.
I be seeing these little videos of people where they look like they fighting. Like, you get what I'm talking about? It'd be at, like, I guess, rock concerts. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Pit. Okay. Yeah. And they literally punching each other, jumping and slamming each other on the ground. And that's just fun.
That's just fun. Yeah, yeah. It's jumping around and listening to good music. And
that's the type of shows you be doing?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
They had this thing called
to the comedy shows.
They have this thing called The Wall. And basically when you're on stage and you got everybody hyped up and everybody's having a good time, and you can part them like the Red Sea, and everybody in the crowd will part. And then whenever the breakdown hits, which is just like it's basically where the music stops and then it comes back in and it's heavy as hell. That's whenever the wall breaks and they all run into each other and they just start moshing, beating the hell out of each other.
Hypothetically speaking, in Million Views Podcast is on the scene. We doing behind the scenes with Brandon Lee Benton. We don't have to get beat up, dude.
No,
we could just film.
You be on stage right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
But, I'm not. but yeah, I went into
that's crazy.
Like I said, I got hooked up with Josh and found out that I was a good vocalist, a natural vocalist, and joined that band with him. It was called An Allegiance Condemned. It was you can still find it on like Bandcamp and Reverb Nation. And
I'm familiar with that.
After that, we had a couple of things, a couple of shows. I had gotten a couple of good connects with Roadrunner Records, which was this big company, big label, especially back in the day. They held great people like Slipknot.
Records. I'm gonna have to look at that.
A lot of good bands, but the band fell apart. Due to a couple of members did some things they shouldn't have done. We were all young and stupid and teenagers, and drugs got involved, and we fell apart before we got off the ground.
A real rock and roll story.
Yeah. Before we even got off the ground, we did like a reverse rock and roll thing. It was ridiculous.
Y'all did it before the money though. It did.
Yeah. We were like, oh yeah, we're playing music now, and then like drugs came out, and we're like, we're not there yet. But you know what I mean. But what they did it. I mean, I didn't do it. I don't. I'm a hypochondriac.
What year we looking at? You said
this is 2009. Okay. Well, 2010, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, that's far. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Much long time ago. Okay.
So after that, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just kind of like did myself for a little while and wasn't, writing my own music, and I was on Craigslist again, and I was
this with the cars.
Yeah, for the people that wasn't listening prior to the recording, we were talking about some Craigslist stuff, but yeah, I got on Craigslist, and back when you can go to the musician section and you can search for like posts that people were looking for people and wanted ads and stuff like that.
All right.
And I found a band out of Greer, South Carolina, which was about a 20-minute ride from where I was at. And I joined them as their front man. And it was called Into the Empire. And that was kind of the thing. That's really what pushed me into doing all kinds of stuff with music. Notoriety, I guess you could say. We had a couple of albums come out. We were with a label. We toured for couple years, and played Warped Tour, Vans Warped Tour. I don't know if you're familiar with.
Nah, I'm really different into a lot of that. Yeah, tough.
But no, it was. This is why I like.
Excuse me, not to cut you off, but this is why I like this. Like this is what I was looking forward to for this interview, was to learn so much more. Like I don't want to be. I'm a media, I'm in media.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be stuck in one box. I don't, I want to be able to expand, to be able to have a conversation with anybody. I want to be able to say that I met Brandon Lee Benton.
And that goes both ways too, because there's going to be a lot of things that you say to me that, I'm just not familiar with.
Right.
But I get to learn about that, and that's what makes it worth it.
And that's the beautiful thing about music. Music has a way of bringing different people, even from different backgrounds, different ideas, different, but music, just sharing the stories of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It opens up conversations to so many other things. It opened up, so many different other possibilities. Like you said, music brought you to acting.
Yeah.
Directing, you know what I'm saying? Like how, and what was that transition, and how did that even take place?
Well, like I said, I did that one band, the last band, Into the Empire, and that ran up until 2015, I believe.
About a 5 or 6 year run, huh?
Yeah. It was a good run. It was a really good run. But the music started changing a little bit. It started getting out of the realm of what I wanted to do. and I've always been a movie buff. So I've always loved horror movies and movies like Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean, all the way back to Rocky Horror Picture. Right. And
just to clarify, when you said the music was changing, you meant within that band? Or
within the band.
The genre?
No, within the band. They wanted to go...
They wanted to go another direction.
Yeah. And I was more focused on what we were doing. We had this heavy route we were going, and then it started kind of changing into I don't know how to explain it. It's like a party metal kind of sound with like techno and stuff like that. Okay. And it just wasn't for me. Okay. But yeah, I got out of that band and, really still kept writing some stuff for myself. I have a lot of music that I just hadn't released yet that I've just now recently started recording and putting it out. And these songs are, 5, 6, 7 years old. You good?
Yeah, excuse me.
Oh, no worries. Just checking on you. So I decided in 2019 that I was going to start a YouTube channel, and that was how I was going to get into movies. Or get into doing what I loved, which was talking about movies, hopefully interviewing people at some point.
How did that go?
And it went really well, actually. It was very short-lived. There's a whole story for that, too. I'll explain. It was very short-lived. I started out doing movie reviews, and they were terrible, but I enjoyed it. And as long as you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's bad. It doesn't matter if it's good. It doesn't matter who else doesn't like it. As long as you like it and you're happy and comfortable with it, and that's where it was for me. I started out doing some movie reviews, and I actually had this actor named Neville Archambault. He had recently passed away.
Hell of a name.
He was a great guy. He passed away this past year. So I had met him in 2019, and he messaged me on Facebook because I would post my videos from YouTube on like a Facebook channel.
Okay.
And I left him in my inbox for like 3 weeks because I had no idea who he was. I didn't even read it, that kind of thing. It was a message request, left him in there. And I finally read it, and I was like, this is like you just said. I was like, that's a hell of a name, dude. I was like, well, who is this guy? Yeah. Turned out to be the lead actor in one of the movies that I had done a review on. And he was reaching out to me and basically telling me that he really enjoyed the review and that I did a good job deep diving into the story. And me and him started talking and became best friends.
Right.
And this is a 62-year-old man, but he was cool as hell, lived in Portland, Oregon. Been in the film industry for 40 plus years. Bodybuilder. Like, he was a cool guy. And but from there, he got me into TV and film because he asked me, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh man, I'd love to do acting, but I just, I feel like that ship has sailed. He was like, what? He's like, you can do it, man. And he's like, what do you do right now? I was like, YouTube. He's like, what are you playing? A character? He's like, are you that happy all the time? I was like, no. He's like, you're acting. So I was like, you're right. And so he got me, he hyped me up, And then that's
a boost of confidence.
Yeah, gave me a boost of confidence and told me how to do my headshots and how to do my slate and stuff for auditions and stuff like that. And it was a real weird time because I started right at the start of the pandemic.
Okay.
And so everything moved from, doing in-room auditions to virtual like we're doing right now.
Stream, right?
Yeah. So if I were doing an audition now, I would have a camera on a blank wall, and you could do it as many times as you want. You don't have to worry about going in a room and messing up. You could do it as many takes as you want till you get it right.
And send it in. Take, right?
Yeah. Okay. So it was real bizarre getting into it that way because whenever you do go for an in-person audition, it's
totally different experience. Huh?
Absolutely terrifying. Because you're not as prepared as you would normally be.
How was your first one?
It was terrible.
Yeah. You didn't get it?
No, I didn't get it at all. No. I didn't get a film for the first 2 years I was doing auditions.
How much of your upbringing, how much of what you were doing in music and your journey into music prepared you for that? I'd
actually say a good bit. I developed, like I said, I had anxiety a lot, like when it came to like playing shows and getting on stage. And so how I combated that was I kind of created a character.
A persona.
Yeah, a persona. Yeah. And that character's name is, and this is what I release my music now on Spotify as, but it's Vincent Valentine. And I wore like white contacts. I had like makeup on my face and like a long black hair.
Okay.
And I just
created a character.
Yeah, I created a character. And unfortunately, that character, trailed on with me after the music scene.
You say unfortunately?
Unfortunately, yeah. Because I have a borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
From like some PTSD and trauma that I had in the past, and that was kind of something that I put on to that. Like that guy didn't have those problems.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get where you're going.
And so when I was on stage as Vincent Valentine, he was fearless. I could get up on stage and I could do crowd work and I could talk to people and it didn't really bother me. And but that I feel like is what prepared me for acting, because I can easily slip into somebody else.
So it's safe to say that it was destined.
I think so.
For you to, that's just who you are.
Yeah, I think so, man. And what's bizarre is I just found this out like the other week. I was just scrolling through IMDb and I had seen this news article about the Alec Baldwin situation.
Yeah.
He had accidentally.
Fill me in, yeah.
Okay, so he was filming this movie and recently, like last year.
Okay.
And something happened with the prop gun, and it had a live ammo in it.
Okay, I think I saw that. Okay.
And so a person got killed on set, and he was the one that was holding the gun. And so there's a real big thing going on with that, and I try not to. It's one of those things, like when you're messing with weapons on set, they should always be props. There should never be a real weapon on set. And it could have been done better. But while I was scrolling through, they were comparing how Alec Baldwin is facing charges for this accident, but Michael Masso from the 90s, which is an actor who is shot Brandon Lee.
Oh, Bruce Lee, son.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but I seen that, and it was like his birthday, or talking about his birthday or whatever. And I was like, that's wild, because my dad, shout out to my dad, Jimmy Benton, he named me after.
Shout out to JB, man. Jimmy Benton, that's crazy.
He named me after Brandon Lee. And I was born the same year that Brandon Lee died, on the same day that Michael Masso's birthday is. So the guy that shot Brandon Lee, I have his birthday, and I was named after the guy that he shot. I swear, you can look it up.
Man, see,
that's crazy too. And I went on to do acting, and I did martial arts as a kid.
It's predestined.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody told me that fate favors the prepared mind, right? And your dad started with your name.
Yeah.
The preparation started with your name.
He did.
You feel what I'm saying?
No, I do.
And life just took the rest of the, you know what I'm saying?
And it just took its course.
For sure.
Took its course, man.
That's crazy, though.
It is weird to think about. Like I did. I mean, I grew up watching.
Shout out
movies.
to Brandon Lee, man. Shout out to
Brandon Lee, man. He was a great guy, great actor, talented.
That is how he died too. I was wondering how the Alec Baldwin story was about to tie into what you were telling me.
But the point was that Michael Masso, it was an accident. It was ruled as an accident. It shouldn't have happened, but it was an accident. And now Alec is in the same situation, and it's he's facing charges for it, which is it's not his fault. I
was about to say who
it's the prop master's fault.
Okay, so that's
100%.
So that's the name of the person on the set that controls the prop master.
Yeah. They should have definitely double checked. Double
check, triple, however many times to save a
And like I said, there should never be live ammunition on a movie. That's ever. Flash, like they have these things.
How does that even happen?
I don't know. And that's what's
under
weird.
No circumstance that's not supposed to.
No, not at all. And it you can get into conspiracies about that because, like why did Bruce Lee die?
Right.
He died from a aneurysm.
They claim he drank too much water.
too much water. They told he had an aneurysm, and his doctor prescribed him like aspirin, and that's what killed him, like in his sleep. And then Brandon Lee gets shot.
Right?
Like, who's taking out all these people? Like it could be a conspiracy.
Hey man, I'm gonna stay away from the C word, but I see where you're going with that though, because like as I watch a lot of documentary style type things and stuff like that, and that's another thing I want to speak with you about after the show.
Yeah.
What was, you say the first 2 years you didn't land a role? What was your first role that you landed?
The first role I landed was, and I'm not proud of this, but
You say I'm not proud of this. Damn, that's a disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. It was remember the show Blind Date on MTV?
Blind Date, I do.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was my first role.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, episode 32.
How did it go?
Yeah. It was rough. It was rough because I'm a ginger, and Nikki Glasser. Not shouting out Nikki. I'm not shouting out Nikki Glasser, but she roasted me, man. She roasted me. She tore me apart.
Bad?
Yeah, bad, dude.
Damn.
Bad. You can find it on my IMDb.
I was about to say I'm gonna go check it out.
It's. I'm trying to figure out how to take it off. No, it was bad. It wasn't a great experience.
That's the goofiest job you had.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Well,
and people
at least
think
that's
it's real.
the worst.
People think it's real, dude. It's all fake.
That's what I was about to ask you. I know that it's fake, but to what
I mean, they hooked
without giving what I'm saying, their whole little thing away. But do that even still? That's not still a thing, huh?
Hell,
so what was the whole?
It's all fake.
What was it's just a flat out little movie, huh?
It's just a flat out episode. They write it and they give you pointers. So it's all improv, but they give you pointers. Like,
okay,
hey, you should talk about this. You should talk about this. Or like for me, I came in and they were like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I was a musician." And they were like, "Cool, we're gonna write on that." And they would just give me little snippets and be like, "Hey, you should talk about this. Talk about this." And when they asked me,
was on Blind Date.
Yeah, when they asked me too, they were like, "What kind of girls are you interested in?" I was like, "I don't know. Tattooed, maybe, mentally unstable."
Right. So a little crazy.
A little crazy. They got me. They hooked me up with this. They hooked me up with this girl named Caitlin, and she was.
Caitlins are usually crazy.
Yeah, she was from Alabama. She had one tattoo. She had one tattoo. She was a blonde nurse from Alabama. She had one tattoo, and they only picked her because it was Jack Skellington. Because I'm into dark looking stuff, I guess, and they were like, "Oh, she has Nightmare Before Christmas tattoo, so they should click just fine." I had nothing in common with this woman. Yeah. Not that I thought anything was going to happen, but then I found out that they were like, "Yeah, we keep y'all separate the whole time, and then like y'all don't even get to like talk afterwards. And even if you wanted to give her your number or she wanted to give you her number, it's a no. It's just a show. That's all it is.
That's crazy, bro. So how do you get casted for something like that? Your agent just...
I found that one myself, actually. Because
damn, you can't even blame nobody for that one.
Yeah, that's myself. Yeah. I seen a paycheck. That's what I seen.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man.
And I mean, $250 to be posted on Bravo TV, recurring, like that episode constantly plays.
Damn. And it didn't go right.
It's a double-edged sword because I'm getting the exposure, but also that episode sucked.
It's pretty bad.
So, yeah.
I mean,
they paid me $250.
Of
course I wanted to do it. Everybody wants to get paid for doing something they love.
For real. For real.
So I got to pretend to be this guy, and I was, this character, and it was, But after that, I did this horror TV show, which was really cool. I really, really enjoyed this. And
like that show Scream?
Kind of. Yeah.
Or something like that.
I mean, it wasn't Scream, but it was called Horror Noir, and it was it's called a black anthology.
It's called what?
Horror Noir. Okay, so noir is like
I know what that means. You said horror.
Oh,
all right, horror.
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
Yeah,
my bad.
No, you're good. It's my accent, dude. It's my southern accent. It's horror. Horror.
All right, horror.
But
we say horror.
But
I get what you're saying. You actually said it correctly. I'm guessing.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, we all messed up. But continue, my brother. My bad.
I think you'll find this interesting. I really enjoyed that show that I did. It was all black content creators.
Yeah.
Like, there's not been a whole lot of black people that do a lot of horror movies.
Right.
Jordan Peele's doing it, and he's making a killing. Like, he does great work. I don't know if you've seen Nope. Or I
did see Nope. I saw Nope. I like that.
Yeah, Jordan Peele. He's a great guy.
That's
great
different
director. writer.
Nope was different. I thought it was gonna be stupid. Like when I read the little, they have the
tagline.
Yeah, I read it. I was like, I don't know. But
Yeah,
when I watched it, that was actually an interesting movie.
A lot of these movies are like that. You're like, I don't know about this. I didn't know what was that one movie? It was oh shit. It was like two different families, but they were the same family. You know what I'm talking about? Like there was doppelgangers of the family. I don't know. It came out a couple years ago, but it was like that. I didn't know it was going to be. I was like, what is this? It was
another
about?
Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah, it was another Jordan Peele movie, but you didn't know what it was going to be about. That was very vague in his trailers and stuff. And then like when you watch it, you're like, oh shit, this is good.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of people came together for the horror noir production, and it was an anthology series. So there was like 7 short films in one movie.
Okay,
and it was just really cool to see everybody coming together and doing something like that.
And that was the first time you seen an all black production.
Oh yeah,
team?
That was the point I was getting at. Is there was it was like 17 different people that was all coming in, and they were like, you know what, it's almost like I said, you don't see a whole lot of black people doing horror movies,
right? Correct.
But they came in and they were like, you know what, we're gonna do this, and I don't care, we're gonna do it ourselves, and it's got some like tropes that you would get if you were if you came from that kind of era or that area, or if you were black, you would get it more than white people would, but but it was good. It was really good seeing people do their own thing, and it was different, and it received great awards, like writing awards and casting and everything. Brought a lot of good black actors out of the I call it the trenches, because like when you're an actor, you're in the trenches. You're in independent land, and a lot of good faces came out of that little anthology series. It was just really good.
Sure, that's what's up.
Yeah, and I had a small part in it. I was
salute to them, man.
Yes, absolutely. And I had a very small part in it. I played a vampire, and it was really cool. Peter Stormare was there. He was the guy that played like Satan in Constantine. You ever seen Constantine? Yeah. All right. And Lavelle Crawford was in it. Got to hang out with him.
Lavelle Crawford.
Yeah, right. Dude.
Big boy, funny as hell.
Yeah, dude.
Wait, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I passed it up, but I think I seen that preview on
Shudder.
It's not Netflix. It's on an app.
Shudder.
On Roku.
Yeah. I think Roku's on. I think Shudder is on Roku. Yeah. It's where you go to like.
I've seen previews of that. Yeah.
He was great. He was so
that's
funny.
where I saw Lavelle. Lavelle, he had some dark stuff on it, like.
Yeah. He was wearing like the plaid shirt with the overalls. Yeah. He was a great guy, dude. He was so funny.
How is he in person?
Oh, really funny. Really nice, really laid back. He wasn't like, he had his own chair in his own room.
Right.
But dude's coming off of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yeah, he did some big things. Lavelle had a long career.
Oh yeah, he's been a stand-up since what, the 80s?
He's been around for a minute, and he's funny as shit.
Oh yeah, that's all he did was cut jokes about like, what did he say? He said, he was asking about, he was joking around about J's, and he was like, anybody got a J? Anybody got a J? And we was just laughing. Because how he talks, he's like, anybody got Jay?
Right.
And he said, you know what? I'm waiting for them to come out with smart cars that deliver your drugs.
Yeah.
He said, just call the weed man, send a smart car.
And that ain't far off, bro. I think they actually have that somewhere. It's probably taking place somewhere right this second.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lavelle Crawford, that's a legend in the game, bro. Very funny.
Absolutely.
So you come from, I'm assuming a small town in South Carolina.
Yeah, very small. Very small.
2-parent household, big full family. You know what I'm saying? Not really knowing exactly what you wanted to do up until maybe, your late teens.
Mm-hmm.
And then figuring out your lane and pursuing it, man. You amongst the greats like Lavelle Crawford. You're pursuing your dreams.
Oh yeah.
What's been
the
the peak moment of what you're doing? Like, what's been your most proud moment of what you're doing?
Peak moment would be Mentone, Indiana, 2022. Last year, around March.
Mentone, Indiana.
This time last year, actually, I was shooting my first film that I had lines, and it's going to theaters. And I got like a small supporting role, opposed to you ever played GTA 5?
Not exactly. I purchased it for my son, but never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Well, yeah. I guess you could. I dabbled around with it. What you got?
Well, I got to play opposite of Stephen Ogg, which is Walking Dead. He was in The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Okay. He was not Negan, but he was Jeffrey Dean Morgan's opposite. So right hand man to Negan. He had the crazy hairline. His name was Simon in The Walking Dead. And he also played Trevor in GTA 5, the bald crazy guy.
Okay.
And anyway, yeah, he was my scene partner, and we got to work opposite of each other for that film. And I got to work with some great actors, Jay Hewley from The Walking Dead, Annalisa Basso from Basso, can't really pronounce her last name, but she was on this show called Snowpiercer, Captain Fantastic.
Okay. To put that in terms that
was my biggest thing.
People like me would understand, like you finally got that was
the moment I knew
a role in something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's fire though.
And I'm still
and that's how many years into your acting?
19, 20, 21, 22, 3 years.
3 years. And a lot of people don't pull that off that fast.
No, not at all. Not at all. You can be on background for. I knew a guy that was been on background for 7 years.
You've been on background forever.
Yeah.
Some people only do background.
And sometimes they'll look at you. I have that happen a lot, actually. And I mean, good for me, that if I got the look they're looking for. But there's been a couple of films I went on as a featured extra where I just might be in the same scene as the lead for
just
a lot of time.
Anything.
Just not saying anything. And they'll be like, we're going to move you after this scene. We're going to do another scene and we want you to do this. Like that. I always seem to have right place, right time, I guess,
It might be your look. Like you have that, you have a universal look.
Yeah. It's very different.
If that makes sense. Some people outside of the creative space might be like, what the hell Millz talking about?
Yeah.
But you follow what I'm saying. Like they got some people, like you said, you could fit different looks.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Typecasting is a thing.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
That's a direct thing to typecasting because you might see a guy covered in tattoos, jacked, and they're like, we want you for a prison scene. You're going to be a thug.
Right.
And then they're going to use you again. They'll call you a couple months later and be like, we got this other series. We need a drug dealer. We're going to use you. And you just get casted in that type of
a type.
What's
exactly. Your boy name,
Danny
man?
Trejo.
That's his name.
Is that who you're thinking?
Machete.
Yeah, Machete. Yeah. We was on the same page, man. Same page.
This man been a monster in everything he ever been in.
Absolutely.
But he fits that mold perfectly, and that's I'm pretty sure sustained his career for all these years. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's crazy, bro. So we see the peak. What's been the hardest, the most trying time of this that you've been going through? What was the lowest point of your career? You know what I'm saying? If you want to speak on it.
I haven't really. I won't say I've had a low point. Slow point maybe.
Okay,
slow. It's been slow.
Positive man. I like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that.
No, it's just been slow. I've been grinding, doing auditions when they come in, and it's just kind of slowed down a little bit. But it does that. It's like car sale season.
How do you offset that? You told me off camera, but how do you offset that for the aspiring, you know what I'm saying, performers, actors, musicians, or whatever that run into that slow period of the grind? How do you keep yourself afloat financially and mentally and spiritually to make it to that next moment?
Yeah, so definitely when it slows down, I found work in a field that is always hiring.
Okay.
And so I work for and for podcast purposes, I won't say the name of it, but
of course.
But I work for a company that transports the deceased.
Okay.
And we'll go to crime scenes and pick up people and go to their houses if it's a residential and funeral home transport, basic stuff. And I can go anywhere in the United States and get a job. I can get hired over the phone.
Right.
And so I don't have a job before I get there. And
okay.
It keeps that's what really keeps me afloat is just having that that it's a recession proof job.
So always planning for the plan to not go as planned.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody broke that down to me because I would guess that's something that I needed to work on, right? Now, I have no problem locking in. I have no problem even going through, whatever the ups and downs are going to be in the situation. I'm pretty solid. I could go through it. But being in business, I had to learn how to still bring some, the lights and stuff got to stay on no matter what's going on. So that's where we have to be a little bit more crafty you know what I'm saying, being able to come up with funds to keep things going. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really asked that, because some of us are get caught up and it's easy to get discouraged, you know what I'm saying, when it comes 100%. To the financial sides of things. And you know, this is what MillionViewzPodcast is about, though, like sharing our experiences and stories with those that are gonna be, you know what I'm saying, consuming this, because we want to go upward with everything. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to change the narrative, trying to change the situation in our areas, bro, in any way that we can. And I feel like this the way that I can. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
and to add on to
go ahead.
Well, to add on to you know, staying afloat and just keeping yourself motivated. That's how I got into directing.
Okay.
Yeah. My first film I directed was called Ice Heist, and it's still in final production stages of editing and all that stuff. It's been done for over a year, but it's just, you know, the little things that need to be worked out. But I had,
let me know when y'all finish up with that, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely promote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was the film that I directed that, you know, nothing was coming in. It slowed down. I wasn't getting too many auditions. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out and do this. I'm just going to do this myself. I'm going to make it happen. Okay. And I mean, I didn't do it myself, but, you know, I had a group of people.
Put a team together.
But,
you know?
Yeah. They had a team and we did it. They were like, what can we do? And they threw out the idea and then we made it happen. And I fell in love, man. I fell in love that second, like being behind the camera. I love it just as much as being in front of the camera.
That's right. I love being behind the camera more than being on it.
Yeah, like editing and the camera angles, the lighting, the everything, dude. Like I'm infatuated with how TV and film works and production. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And that's how that's the motivation to stay going is finding that motivation is when it does, recognizing that it's slowing down and that you might be falling into, like you said, it's very easy to get discouraged and be like, you know what, this shit ain't working. This ain't for me. I should just go back to my day job. I started a series because of that. You know, I was bored. I was like, I'm not getting anything. I started a series called Mr. Jones. I've gotten one episode out of it, but I wrote it, shot it in one day, in one episode. And it did good. Like people, I mean, I've gotten really good feedback from it. But that's what you got to do.
And it's called Mr. What?
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones. Yeah. That's interesting. And what's the premise of, like, it's
a guy, I play opposite of myself.
Okay.
So, where one, I look like me now. The other version of me is I'm wearing my glasses. I've got a button up on, and it's kind of like the duality of the good versus evil in your personalities.
Okay.
And he's a killer, a serial killer, and it follows his story. Yeah. But you see me on screen playing myself, talking to myself. It's pretty bizarre.
Right.
It is. And watching yourself do that.
And you edit it and all that yourself.
Yeah, it's real bizarre, man. It's like a therapy session.
I like that though.
Yeah. But that's what you got to do. You have to recognize when you're falling into that slump and you're wanting to give up, and then you just got to make something.
Push through it.
You got to push through it.
You feel them? That's fire, bro. I like that. Now let me get into my generic questioning.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
You had a event, you know what I'm saying? You on set shooting something, you know, but y'all in the green room or y'all in a trailer or something like that. You got a veteran here and, you know, a guy myself, like, you know, new to it. What are you saying? What's the conversation like? What are you saying or asking to the veteran, and what you saying or asking to the youngster?
You mean like as far as advice goes?
However, you know, y'all just in the green room, just chilling, whatever, you know.
We'll just like for instance, whenever I was sitting with Steven on that set in Indiana, he didn't really talk much. I've noticed a lot of actors, they're kind of dicks. I'm serious. No, I'm not gonna lie about it. Like I like to stay humble.
I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, I like to stay humble. I know where I came from.
Let me kind of rephrase the question. It's a hypothetically really just where your mind is, you know. What would you want to know from let's say, who's your favorite actor?
My favorite actor would probably be, oh god, that's a hard one. I'll just throw a name out there. Let's go with oh shit.
I'll pick one so you don't offend anybody. Let's say you Ben Stiller is sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? And there's a rookie actor in the same room with you, and it's just you three guys talking, and it's your turn to ask Ben a question. You know, you get one question to ask him. What would you want to know?
I'd probably ask him when he realized that acting wasn't for him.
Acting wasn't for him. I like this dude.
Well, he left acting to go he started directing. He's made more movies directing than he has starred in.
Correct. That would be a great question.
So I figured I'd ask him, like, when did he realize that he hated acting? Or he sucked at? No, I'm just kidding. No, I would ask him, though.
He just saw that he had a greater future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he just
doing the latter.
He was a funny guy. He just had his...
liked him on camera. He just only fit certain
things. Yeah, there was only certain movies that I feel like is written every 20 years that you might be like, you know what, this movie's perfect for Ben Stiller. No one's gonna watch it. No. I'm just kidding.
What you asking the younger actor, aspiring actor, inspiring producer?
I don't think I would ask them anything.
What advice would you give them?
I would tell them to when they're sitting there at night and shit seems like it's not going to happen for them, and they've been doing it for 2 years and they're just running and chasing their tail in circles, that as long as you continue to pick up a camera and shoot something and make dialogue, that it's going to happen at some point.
That word you use, dialogue.
Yeah, you have to.
Tell them how important that is.
Dialogue is very important. Like, you have to, and that's what we're doing right now. And I think as long as you're not doing, once you stop having the dialogue with other humans, that's whenever people start to fall apart.
Yeah, that's when things pretty much are shut down for you.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
Conversation and numbers pretty much run everything, right?
They do.
But the numbers will never meet with each other. The numbers will never be able to be manifested without the conversation, the interaction of the two.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The two that are running the entity. So that's always going to be something that that's the reason why I got into this, right? My son, he's a rapper, Pint 2 Times. Shout out to Pint 2 Times, right? I got a partner official with an A who is my artist on Million One Entertainment. All, like, I ain't gonna say all of my friends, but most of my friends, we're into music, we're into, but we didn't have, that 9 to 5 thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not discouraging anybody from working a 9 to 5, because you always have to have a means to an end, and you have to take care of your families, man. Take care of our responsibilities, and that street thing just ain't for us no more. Yep. So I'm not encouraging no bullshit, but what I am saying is, don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to pursue, to utilize your gifts and your talents, because, like, all of us possess some type of gift, talent, and what I'm saying, like engineers and people in boardrooms, that takes talent, that takes takes ingenuity and stuff like that for them to be able to do what it is they do. They just not might have the skill that Brandon has to act or write a movie, or you know what I'm saying, but everybody has their own talents. So exactly. Don't be afraid to step out on those talents, with a little bit of faith and hard work behind it, and you never know what you'll come up with, man.
It takes it just takes a step. That's it. You got to take the first step. That's like leaving your hometown, like, especially when you live there for all your life. And like, for instance, like I mentioned earlier, like it was a small town. Everyone recycled what their parents did.
Right.
They all worked the same job. They passed, they had 5 kids, and they got married and had a white picket fence, and they wanted to work at the die-cast metal company down the street.
Right.
But not me. And you just had to step out. You had to step out. And that's the hardest thing to do.
When did you leave?
Probably decided to leave just a couple years ago.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. That's whenever I really started branching out and like exploring.
So you still was kind of on the fence of the 5 kids and picket fence thing?
Oh, no. That mindset shifted a long time ago. Yeah. I thought I was going to be that way. When I had my daughter with my ex, and we were together for a minute, 7 years almost. And I thought that, that was it. I thought we was going to be doing this white picket fence thing. That's what she wanted. And I quickly realized, after anxiety and depression and panic attacks, that I was not being myself. And so we had an amicable decision. After a little bit of, we had our hardships, but, we split up, and I was like, she said, "You want to go make movies? I don't want to leave the state. I like where I'm at." And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. I got to go out and make something. I got to. I can't stay here. I can't do what everybody else is doing. I can't just die here.
I saw, I want to say it was Steve Harvey, but I could be wrong. But if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm sorry. They said to be successful, you're going to have to be willing to cut pretty much anything and everything in your life at some point. You know what I'm saying? Some things are going to be there.
Sacrifices.
You know what I'm saying? Some things, though, just, this ain't going to work with that. You feel what I'm saying? And it's going to be the people that can make those hard decisions, you know what I'm saying, and live with them that actually make it to being successful. And that's a fine line in between, like you say, being an asshole and just being focused.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm
blur
saying?
that line all the time.
Okay.
They think you're just being a dick because you got podcasts you need to do. You can't go out and hang out. You can't go grab a drink. You know what I mean? And they just think that you're blowing them off, but that's not the case.
It's not the case. It's the editing. The podcast don't take that long.
Yeah.
The editing part, you know what I'm saying? That's what. Yeah, I get that. And like, believe it or not, bro, I done lost so many people. I lost more people in these 3 years of doing what I'm doing. Well, really 4 years, but 3 years we've been, out. You know what I'm saying? The first year was really the development and putting it together and getting paperwork. And that was in the beginning of the pandemic as well. So that kind of threw things off. But anyway.
Well, that's the thing, though. You find out who your real friends are when you focus on yourself.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah. I lost a lot of acquaintances that I thought.
That's what you call them, acquaintances. Yeah.
I lost a lot of acquaintances whenever I started doing myself and I started doing film. And getting somewhere, finally getting places, doing some films, getting some stuff under my belt. Then I seen, it was bizarre because I started getting message requests on Facebook from people. Hey, how you been? Right. We should hang out. How you doing? Oh, I seen you out doing this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut up. You ain't, you know what I mean?
Amen.
Like you didn't want me at my lowest when I was focusing on myself. And now you want to come back and try to hang out with me because
you think I got something bigger going on.
You think I got a big bank account? No, man.
That's what it be too, bro. And that's sad because like I started Million Entertainment with me and pretty much all those people that I lost in mind. You feel what I'm saying? Because this ain't about just me. Yeah. This, what I'm doing is a way that I could promote whatever it is we got going on.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? And I guess when it's not somebody else's idea, it's not a good idea.
You think so?
In other words,
you got good ideas, I'm sure.
I know I do. I have great ideas.
Absolutely.
That's how I end up here with you, sir. But you get what I'm saying? Like if me and Brandon in a group together and Brandon didn't come up with the idea, he looking at me like, man, that shit ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But anything can work with teamwork, with compassion, with compassion with the wrong word, with conviction. Yeah. Like you gotta really be about doing the work, going after the shit. Like you can't just like this interview is not going to happen on its own. No. And we did. I mean, we had to fight schedules to make it happen. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. But imagine if a team was involved with making this take place. Yeah. It would be that much better. It would be that much smoother. Now, at the same time, I like to think I do a pretty decent job, which I do a damn good job at it. You know what I'm saying? So you're like me too. I came in here, got us all set up, mic check, you know what I'm saying? Sound check. Like, everything ain't perfect, but at the same time, it's perfect enough. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We getting it off. And we know it's right because you did everything yourself. Facts. I hate to be that way, but whenever I'm doing those films and my films, Rex, I will edit it. I will do the lighting. I will do everything myself because I know that if I fuck up, done correct. It's gonna be done the right way. Right. Yeah, or at least to me. So. Okay, man. So we done been through the ups and downs, man. We done been to South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? We done figured out what it is that inspires you. How much of this? How many times have you sat back, like after somebody got through telling you how much you've inspired them? How many times do you sit back and be like, "Damn, me? I did that." It's only happened a couple of times. Yeah. It's weird, It's weird when because I still don't feel like I've made it, Right. But I have had a couple of people that's like, man, you're awesome. You inspire me to go do acting, or you inspire me to make music, or right. And it's a weird feeling. You don't have to necessarily make it to inspire people. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Cause if I didn't get anything from you, then that first night we met, like I said, that was my first night. People go through things, right? Been going through some things lately. So that was the first night I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna punish the rest of the world from this great energy that I have.
Yeah.
Because of some shit that's going on.
Yeah.
With some people who just don't appreciate me. So when I met you and we
I was honored, man.
That first
when you asked me to come on,
you know what I'm saying? That first little spark, I was like, damn, you was humble about it. Like you know what I'm saying? You could have easily just like, hey man, I'm just trying to enjoy my night. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I'm a people
Good
person.
to meet you type of, but you know how people do you.
Yeah.
Hey man, how you doing? Good to meet you.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying, dude, about like most actors. I'm telling you, like they're
assholes.
Dicks. They're assholes, man. You wouldn't believe how many people like I won't name drop, but I've worked with some people that I just wanted to have a conversation with. Like not starstruck, but I was like, I feel like I could learn a lot from this guy. And they were just assholes. They get in them head in their heads.
You think they don't want to share? You think they don't want to share the game?
I think that acting is such a weird world. That people get such a big head about it, and they think that they're too good, for
that's the way they keep their edge.
They're like, oh, you're an extra, don't look at me.
Yeah, he can't keep his edge as a lead actor if he mingles with the peasants.
Yeah, and meanwhile, that whole time I was in Indiana on my biggest film I've ever done, I was hanging out with the crew. Everyone thought I was a grip for the first 2 weeks of filming. I'm serious. And then I went.
What is a grip?
A grip is somebody that walks around with like tape and stuff like that, and marks and sets up equipment and stuff like that.
Assistant, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Production crew assistant guy. But they did. And then whenever I asked them, I was like, they seen me on set in my outfit, like my sheriff's outfit, because I play a sheriff sheriff deputy in that movie.
Okay.
And they said, what are you doing? I said, getting on set and getting ready to go. And they're like, I thought you were crew. I was like, no, man. And they were like, you are the coolest guy to hang out with us for the last 2 weeks.
Damn.
And that's just how I am. I'd rather hang out with, try to be humble, and I'm not, I don't think I'm hot shit. And I enjoy interacting with people. I like learning stuff. That's why whenever I met you and you told me about a podcast, I was immediately intrigued. I'm like, this is cool. I've never met a guy that does podcasts. That's cool as hell.
It's your first?
This is my first podcast, man.
It's your first podcast?
Yeah.
Man? Oh man, you're doing great, man.
I ain't never done one of these.
The production and acting and music and everything has prepared you for this. Now it's not your first interview, huh?
No, it's not my first interview.
Right. Yeah. Man,
but it is great. But still, podcast is a big thing. I like podcasts. I listen to them all the time. I've been, watching up your videos, and I was like, dude, this guy's gonna have me on his show. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
And you're welcome to come. You're welcome to come back anytime, dog. Anytime you need to promote something, or anytime you just have a topic on your mind that you want to speak on, whether it be heavy or light. You know what I'm saying? Always come through, man. I love interacting with good energy, like good people. Like I don't care about people's color, background, none of that, bro. Like I done been public school, private school. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the church. You know what I'm saying? But I lived in the hood. And, seeing different sides of things. But one thing I learned, bro, through life, you know what I'm saying, whether I'm in a library or in a prison yard, people are people, and they going to respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line to it. I'm going to demand my respect, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's got me a lot further in life. I done met bad people of every... like I said, creed, color, you know what I'm saying, and background, dog. But the majority of people I done met in life been good people. And like I said, I believe that's because of the good energy that I'm willing to put out. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to walk away from the bad energy. Because I don't have time for shit like that in my life. Meeting people like Dirty Mouth, bro. I finally got a chance to meet Smiley the comedian. Finally got a chance to meet Mark Caesar. You know what I'm saying? These people who I've been seeing on social media and actually following them before I met them.
Yeah.
So just going into the comedy spot, man, I'm gonna start making sure I do that a little bit more often, dog. Cause it's just been all good energy. Like the people that I actually have took the chance to reach out and interact with, bro, it's been good and it's been therapeutic for me. Getting out with the old in with the new type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's really been positive for me, man. So like I said, you welcome back anytime, man. What is it that Brandon, like when you leave a room, when you leave a setting, or when you leave a movie set, or when you leave a group of kids you just got through mentoring or giving some positive words to, what do you want to leave people with? Like, what do you want people to remember, when Brandon left, you know what I'm saying? What do you want that room to be left with from Brandon?
I'd hope that they would think that you can still do cool shit and be a decent person and not be, super into yourself. You can stay humble. You can
stay humble.
Yeah, you can stay humble. You can, and still do a lot of stuff. And you don't have to convert to like being an asshole and shutting people out because you think that's what's going to get you far in life.
What you got right now that's playing, streaming, you know what I'm saying, on display anywhere that the people could?
Yeah, we have, like I said, we have Horror Noir, the Black History anthology.
Horror, not horror. I'm talking to my people. Y'all know how we, the man said horror. Y'all heard him. Go ahead, brother.
And it's streaming on Shudder.
Okay.
And Now I See is the big film that I did last year. It's supposed to be coming out this year. So you can check, your local streaming sites and theaters.
Yeah, you're right, man. Now I See. Y'all make sure it's going to theaters, you said?
Yeah, it's going to theaters. I believe it's going to Amazon Prime.
I'll make sure y'all check my boy out, man. Now I See.
Now I See, yeah. And music. I have a little bit of music going on that I've been recording recently.
Where can they find it?
It's on Spotify. Yeah, it's Vincent Von Valentine. That is under... Yeah,
Vincent Vine Valentine.
Yeah.
You got to text me that so I can
I'll
make sure that pop up on the screen. That's gonna be a hard one. There.
But yeah, that's about. I got some other stuff that I'm planning. Got a TV show. I don't know if you're familiar with too much stand-up comedy, but got a TV show coming out that we're gonna be shooting it in August, starring Uncle Laser, who's a comedian from Austin, Texas.
Okay,
and it's gonna be really cool. It's called.
I'm gonna charge you to this though. I'm gonna need you to start introducing me into more of that lane, because I shout out to Dirty Mouth. I did go out last week and interact with them. I'll be out tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? That's my partner, bro. Like real shit. She been giving me a lot of positive energy, a lot of game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And introduce me to people like yourself. So
she was real cool.
Real talk. So yeah, man, I want to get out more, learn more people, come out to more events. You know what I'm saying? And really get into, you know what I'm saying, the fabric of things instead of just being on the outside looking in. So because I want to get in movies. I want to do some acting. I definitely got things that I'm writing and producing and go direct on my own. But I don't want to just do it from an independent standpoint as far as just staying local with it. I want to learn this thing. I want to go get as much education and training on it as possible. I want to really pursue this thing for real. So absolutely, that's something we're gonna get together on a lot.
Yeah, we could do that. And I don't mind, chatting about anything that you want to chat about as far as film goes and the industry and how all that other stuff works. Yeah,
man. I don't know if we can afford you, man, but we're going to try to get Mr. Benton, you know what I'm saying, to come do some work with M1E, man, because we have some...
We'll work something
out. Do I have my bag with me? I got something.
We'll work something out.
I got a little story. I'll let you read some of it.
Yeah.
You promise not to steal.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Brandon Lee Benton, man, Million Views Podcast. I'm Wilson Millz. You could catch me at Wilson Millz on all platforms. Million1 ENT on all platforms, man. When I say all platforms, I mean all. Y'all make sure y'all check us out. How can they get with you, Mr. Benton?
Yeah, you can look me up. That's real Brandon Lee Benton on Instagram. That's where I'm more active. So
catch him on IG. You know what I'm saying? Or you can see him in the streets. What can they catch you at as far as your comedy? Other than the Comedy House.
Yeah, the Comedy House. You can see me at the Ugly Dog Saloon.
The Ugly Dog. I like the Ugly
Dog. The Carrollton Station.
Good burgers.
The Hi Ho Lounge. Any mic you see on Eventbrite. Look on Eventbrite. New Orleans, and on any given day I could be there. So
I'm gonna let him check that out, man. We out of here, man. Like I said, man, this has been another episode, exclusive interview, man, with Wilson Millz, brother. Million Views Podcast, man. We out this thing.
Peace.
Thank you, brother.